Good morning. Welcome to the Lisa Everette Show, and I am not on time today. So, hi, I'm Lisa Everette. Welcome. And I feel like I'm in this period where things feel kind of jumbled and I seem to require a lot of rest, and I did it too much. And like I went to bed actually at a good time on accident. I fell asleep um, way earlier than I meant to, and still I woke up right before I needed to, and I felt so I feel drowsy. I feel not together, and yeah, so I feel out of it. I feel discombobulated, and I'm just what is this tiredness? I feel so tired. Um, oh, let me bring God into this. Thank you, God. Yeah, so just feeling super tired, and I don't know if I want to say drained, but maybe drained. I'm not sure what that looks like. As a side little note here, for those of you who can see, my hair is definitely doing a thing today. I took out my twists, and I learned something. I learned that doing just twists, a twist out, is not enough. I have to turn it into a bantu knot out after I twist it so that it can curl, because my hair is short. So having these little short stubby little twists that stick up is not a good look. So honestly, I didn't even know what to do with my hair this morning. I just put this thing on because I don't know what else to do. This headband, a white headband. Um so now I have to figure out, am I gonna go with this for a few days? Am I going to get it wet, which will just kind of start to destroy this curl structure? Um, and am I gonna just put some bantu knot outs in my hair? Perhaps it'll be time for me to go ahead and put some braids in my hair, because my hair is technically already parted. So each one of these little pieces is already parted. So I could just literally go straight into braiding. But yeah, so I don't I don't like what's going on with my hair today. I definitely learned though, my hair's not long enough to be cute in this kind of style. I have to twist it, um, curl it. I have to curl it. And the way that I do that is, after I made the twist, I could have then wrapped the hair around itself into a bantu knot, but my hair might have been too short after twisting it to even do that. So I'm just probably gonna skip the twisting thing in general for now and focus solely on bantu knots or my rollers. I have some rollers too that I could put in my hair. So that was for sure something to learn. There was something that I actually wanted to talk to you guys about yesterday that I was really excited to talk about, but one, I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to let God guide me as to, what I'm going to talk about in real time. But also, I just forgot, because I remembered that I want to let God guide me in real time. But I felt oh my God, if I were going to choose a topic, it would be let's talk about that. And I do wish that I remembered, but it's okay because I'm letting God lead this. I guess I want to talk a little bit about God's timing right now. There are promises that God has made to me, and God is like getting me in this like ready, this space of readiness, but it's like this constant readiness, and it's like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you really ready? Are you ready this time? Like, are you really, really ready? Are you like super ready? Are are you ready? Hey, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Hey, are you still staying ready? Like, are you ready? And I'm just like, God, can we God, can we please just do it already? You know what? I guess I need rehearsal to get ready because maybe each time that I get ready, I get more ready. So maybe when I think that I'm ready, I'm not really ready, but maybe like at the beginning, right? I was like pretending to be ready, or I was like pretending to get ready even. And like, so maybe I'm just like reaching new levels of readiness, and maybe there's like this sweet spot, or maybe God is just trying to get me super hype and excited. I'm cold. I'm cold right now. Like, I want to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm cold right now. I'm cold. This is probably the laziest way you guys have ever seen someone get a sweater. For those of you who can't see, I just kind of leaned over my chair and over my bed and just kind of like lazily reached and slid it to me. I want there to be no mistake about how tired I'm feeling. So using the word lazy is completely accurate. Like, lazily. That's for sure how I approached it. I wouldn't even say I approached it, I like kind of laid across and then so I definitely can feel that God is teaching me something. Or God is like, how would I word it? Stretching a muscle or getting me to use a muscle, because I can feel that God is using the delivery of, well, a bunch of promises all in one, um, as a tool to prepare me to see my power, to know my power, to understand my power, and to utilize my power in a much different way. I'm very, very clear on that. I can perceive that that's what's happening here, and I'm sure that God is doing other things as well, that I'm unable to perceive or unwilling or, not ready to perceive, whatever. So I can feel that. So it's like, God, please show me how ready I can get. Show me how ready I can be. God, show me how ready I can stay. I don't want to wax and wane from my readiness, God. I want to be consistent in my readiness. I want to be the readiest I've ever been in my life. God, I choose to be the most readiest in my highest timeline to receive the gifts that you have to bestow upon me, God. Mm. Wow. Ooh. Ooh. God, I choose to be the readiest I've ever been in my highest timeline, God. Ready to receive all of the gifts that you have to bestow upon me, that you have to give to me, God. Ooh. Ooh. Mm. God, if there is a special kind of ready, like a, oh gosh, like a godly ready. Oh, God, please help me to reach, hold, to hold a godly readiness. Ooh, ooh, God. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. God, please help me to master godly readiness. Mm. God, I am ready to master godly readiness. God, please help me to master godly readiness, which includes, takes into account your timing. Wow. And if you guys are yawning, don't forget that yawning means that you're processing energy, you're shifting things within your all sorts of structures, your physical makeup, like all of this, it's like releasing. So if you're yawning, this is good. And you also might feel compelled to like start moving your body around, so allow that to happen. So God, please prepare me to sustain my most ready state in my highest timeline, so that I may, one, be fully aligned with my purpose and my true power, God, but also so that I may embark on my further onto my path of purpose in a way that I can recognize and understand and say, I see it now, God. I want to say that I see it now, God. God, I want to say that I see it now, God. Ooh, 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 ooh. I see it now, God. I want to say it, God. I see it now, God. I see it now, God. That's what I want to say. I see it now, God. So, God, please prepare me to a godly readiness, so that I can say, I see it now, God. That is my ask. Ooh. 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 So much energy is moving. Ooh. God, please prepare me, ready me, and move me into a godly readiness that I maintain and sustain, so that I may say, God, I see it. I see it, I see it, I see it, God. So I say, God, I see it. I see it now, God. I see it. It's clear to me. I clearly recognize, clearly see with my own eyes, God, that I am further on my path of purpose and into the promises that you've made to me, God. I'm ready to say that I see it, God. I'm ready to say that I see it. I want to say I see it. Prepare me to say that I see it. Sorry to everybody's ears. That was a big one. This camera is bothering me a little bit because it's a little lower than I could have meant to put it. There we go. If you're gonna see this, if you're gonna see, you should see the spikes on my hair. What am I gonna do with my hair? Okay, back on topic. Yeah, so now there's like definitely some sticking up. I think it wasn't sticking up before. I just made it stick up. Anyways, alright. So God, yes. Yes, God. I'm ready to say, I see it, God. I'm ready to touch it, feel it. I'm ready to touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it. Be with the promises that you have made to me, God. Prepare me for receiving. Prepare me for taking receipt, God. God, prepare me for signing. That receipt of receiving those promises, God. God, I'm ready to take possession of the promises that you are delivering to me, God. In my highest timeline, I am ready to take possession of those promises that you've made to me, God. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to take receipt. I'm ready to take receipt, God. I'm ready to take receipt. I'm ready to take receipt now. I'm ready to take receipt, God. I'm ready to take receipt. I'm ready to take receipt of those promises, God. I'm ready to sign off on it when it gets here. Oh, I'm ready to take receipt, God. Woo! I'm ready to take receipt, God. I'm ready to take receipt of those promises, God. I'm ready to sign for the successful delivery of those promises, God. I'm ready to sign off on it, God. I'm ready to take delivery. I'm ready to take possession of the delivery, God. I'm ready to touch it, taste it, feel it, see it, be with it, God. I'm ready to take delivery of the promises that you are delivering to me, God. Woo. If you're yawning, that means you're removing the energy. And if you're not, that's okay too. People process in different ways. And I don't mean process. Scratch that word. I mean move the energy. Yeah, people move energy in different ways. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong if you're not yawning. Wow, doing that bit of work really made my mouth dry. I might go back to sleep after this. I can sleep for an hour. Yeah, I can sleep for an hour. Okay, sorry. I'm just thinking about sleep. I'm okay. Right. So, God's timing. Yeah. There's like part of me that is like, God, I trust your timing because I know I I'm aware of things that you've done for me before. And while I wasn't in the language of you promising me or anything like that, I do know that I've asked for things. And this was before I was aware of being one with you, God. So it was more like just kind of speaking it out into the ethers, right? Like into the universe. And I you may have responded to me, but I did not receive that response. But so it was like no relationship with you that I was aware of, right? Or we could call it like a distant, very distant relationship. But I spoke desire out into the world, and I thought that those desires were not going to be fulfilled. And I was not in communication with you, God. Well, I wasn't aware of a two-way, and I wasn't even aware that I was speaking to you, God. Although maybe I did get on my knees a time or two out of desperation, pure and sheer desperation, and ask you specifically, God, for freedom from my then circumstances. But it's not like it is now, right? So, God, while I thought that my prayers were going unanswered because you could not hear me, or you did not exist, or whatever the case may be, God, I thought that this particular prayer would never be answered, but you, you, you did answer my prayer. You did answer my prayer, God. I was asking you freedom from my marriage because I didn't know how. I didn't have the strength to go out on my own with my young children. I sought resources, I sought family, and all the doors closed in my face. And I had been a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't have a work history that for my work history was very much in the past, and I had no one to watch my kids even if I did get a job, and I felt trapped. And I didn't have my own income, and I felt very trapped. So in asking for just to be freed from that situation, I had no inkling that you were listening, God, or that you existed, or that you were there. And there was this very scary situation that happened, which felt like a horrible, horrible thing. But God, that was a part of your plan to get me free from that situation. It was not in my timing. It was not in my timing because I think it had gone too far. There was this time, God, where I was aware that you were telling me to leave my husband, my ex-husband. I was aware that you were telling me to leave him. And I, as I said, the doors and the resources were actually never open to me. They were just completely closed. And it's like, well, which door do I go through? And it's like you were telling me, God, that there was a door at the end of the corridor that was wide open. But it was a door of unknownness, and it was not a door that I was expecting to utilize. So I did not see that door, did not pay attention to that door. And if that door existed, I would have been afraid of it. Because that's like just jumping out of a plane with a parachute. Like, I did not know what that would have entailed. And so I did not have the courage. So after, I guess, that time frame, my prayers and desperation of asking to be freed, God, you had to take your own timing on that. I would say that I actively tried to get out for 6 months. And then I think it was a year later when the big event happened. And our separation was forced. And I didn't realize that I was free or liberated because I still felt extremely unsafe in that home. And without means, without a way, without money, I had to pray for freedom from that location to a location where I would be safe and feel safe. And God, you provided that to me out of the blue. Out of the blue. That's how you work, isn't it, God? Out of the blue. Out of the blue, God, you opened a door that had been closed. You opened a door that was shut in my face unexpectedly and out of the blue. And while there was a waiting period there, God, because I don't know, maybe with me in particular, I kind of have to acclimate. Maybe that's not true now. I mean, in my thoughts, I hope it's not true. That I have to acclimate, but I probably still do. But basically, I had applied for a program for women and children, and I was given a hard no because I had been a stay-at-home mom with no income. But really, I know that the person just didn't care about me or my story. And suddenly, I received a phone call from that same program. I hadn't been in contact with them. Nothing had changed. And I was asked to come in for a meeting. And I didn't know what that was for because they already told me no. And we were living in such bad conditions. 1. 2, I felt very unsafe with my ex-husband knowing that we're still there. So I got the call. And I had to take my kids with me everywhere because there was no support for me. So I had my 3-year-old, my 6-year-old, and my 10-year-old. Don't quote me on those ages. I know that my 3-year-old was three, however, and then so that means 6, yeah. 14-year-old, my eldest was 14. I went to this meeting, bringing all my kids, because I had no word about them. And there was a new woman. The other woman was gone. The other woman that I had spoken to was gone. And while I can't say that this played a role in it, the original woman that I spoke to was Caucasian, and I felt like she cared nothing about me or my story whatsoever. But what could I do about that? Like, I know, like, I can feel when people literally don't care. And I could feel that she literally didn't care. That was very evident to me. And this new woman, she was a woman with darker skin like mine. And I sat down. She was beautiful and very friendly. And she's like, I bet you're wondering why I called you. And I'm like, yeah, definitely. And she's like, well, I wanted to let you know that we have a house for you. And I couldn't understand the words that she was saying to me when she was explaining it. I couldn't wrap my head around what she was saying. She said, we have a house for you. And I couldn't understand her. Today's show might be a little longer, guys. I apologize for that. But I gotta get through this, so I have a house for you. And I'm like, I think I kind of left my body when she said that because it just wasn't registering. Like, she was speaking English, but English, and I heard her, it came in my ears, but there was like this valley, this gap between hearing the words and understanding it, and it wasn't doing the thing that it usually does when people speak words to me. I'm like, what? What? She's like, we have a house for you. And I could not understand her because this avenue was closed and it had been closed for me. I think it had even been like 6 months. Um, and I just, I couldn't understand her. And she kept saying it like, I got a house for you and your kids to move into, and it's a safe place. And I said, you guys told me no. Like, is that what you're supposed to say? Well, I said it. I said, you guys told me no. She was like, that was the other lady. And I was like, you guys said I didn't qualify because I didn't have a job. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna try to stop. And I said, you guys told me no. And she said, that was the other lady. And I was like, you guys said I didn't qualify. And she said, that was the other lady. And I was like, so she could have made me qualified if she wanted to. And she's like, yeah, and I want to make you qualified. I'm so sorry, guys. It must seem so weird because you guys don't know anything about my story, but don't worry, I'm writing about it. In this book, Nevermore Abandoned. I'm sorry, I'm never good at these angles. I'm so sorry. So, when she said that she was choosing to make me qualified, I just needed her to give me information, and she told me that we would be getting a 3-bedroom house with the rent paid for some period of time, and it would be a safe place, and he would not be able to find us, and so that basically I can heal and get back on my feet, or get on my feet, and I'm pretty sure I cried in her office. And I'm pretty sure that my kids were very concerned about why I was crying. Because, they were so little. And I think she gave me a hug. And, oh gosh. I'm so glad I did absolutely no makeup today. Because it's very strange that I don't even do something. But I did nothing today. And so this is oh gosh. Sorry guys, this is running longer than usual. And so she then told me there would be a wait. Look at you, God, making me wait early on. I think we had to wait 2 months. I think we moved in September. And so we were told the address of this place so we could look it up on Google. And for 2 months, we dreamed. For 2 months, we dreamed. And we were all so very excited. And my cousin helped me to move my stuff, which I didn't have a lot because most of everything in that apartment was worn down and beat down. Alexa, cancel. Everything was like beat down, worn down. So we brought almost nothing there with us. In fact, I believe that we did bring nothing with us. The place was furnished for us, and some man was so kind, who was with the location. He took me grocery shopping because when we moved in, my refrigerator was so empty. And when he would come over to make repairs, he heard my kids talk about how hungry they were. So we were in this beautiful place, safe place. The energy of the town that we moved to was so lovely. It was the town that I had always wished to live in, but I didn't know it existed. Like, in my head, I had this town in my mind that I wanted to move to. But God said, no, there's things you don't know about this place. Let me give this town to you. And it was just such a beautiful, it was like what I imagined the other town to be, but like times 10. Beautiful, welcoming, warming, and the energy felt good in my spirit. So when the guy would come over to do repairs, he would hear my kids talk about being hungry. And the only income that I had was food stamps, also known as I forgot what it's called. Anyway, but I had used it because it was not enough for us, and I used it before we got there. And so we had very little bits of food, and so I was trying to make that last until our next month. And I didn't have resources. I didn't have family that I could call, or friends that I could call, or anyone. It was just me and them. And so he would be like working on like the AC or something, and then he would like hear my little son saying something like, "Mommy, I'm hungry," and then I would say something like, "I know, baby, just like wait," or something. And then my littlest one, she'd be like, "Mommy, I'm hungry," and I'd be like, "Guys, we just have to wait a little bit, okay?" And I felt so horrible, but I didn't know what to do. I had already tapped into the resources that I was aware of. I needed them to wait until it was dinner time, because I had something for their dinner. And so, just one day, he came over specifically to ask me if I needed a ride to the store. And I said yes, because I didn't live near the store and I didn't have a car. And I said yes, but I can't right now. I'll have to wait until I get more money in my card. And one of the things that really took the money up faster than you would imagine it would was that one of my children has a medical condition and they can't eat like the rest of us, and that unfortunately means very expensive food. I don't know why the market's like that, but so one of my children has to eat very specific kinds of food, and that food tends to be 5 times, 10 times more expensive than any other food. So I told him, like, I'm not ready yet, like, I'll need some time. And then he said, I can take you shopping and you can get some things. Like, I'm willing to, like, give this gift. I'm willing to give this gift to you and your children to, like, welcome you. I'm willing to give this gift to you and your children to welcome you here. And I was just like, wow, that's so kind of you. Like, wow, that's so kind of you. That's so kind of you. Wow, okay. My brain's trying to process it. He's like, so if you want to go to the store like now, like I can take you. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. And so, um, me and the kids got into his truck and he took me to the store and he said, I want you to get what you need. And I'm like, for some reason I wasn't able to grasp what he meant when he said that. He's like, I want you to get everything that you need. And I'm like, I don't understand. And he's like, I want you to fill up the shopping cart. I want you to get any and everything that you need, and I want you to fill up the entire shopping cart. He's like, I really mean it. I really want you to fill up your shopping cart. And I thanked him and went into the store with this feeling that I've never had before, which was being able to choose anything I wanted in any quantity that I wanted, and just have this sense of relief that my kids would be able to eat the way that they wanted to again. Having snacks, right? Because their little bodies, they just need more than just like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They would like need an apple, banana. Like, we were doing nothing extra. Like, I maybe bought like a can of ravioli and like gave it to like the 2 little ones. But my littlest one, she wouldn't even eat that. So wow, it was really hard to figure out how to feed them on such little money. But just to know that I could get apples and I could get oranges and bananas and raisins and bread and just like anything I wanted to put in this cart. And that for a while I would not have to tell my kids to wait, to hold on. It was incredibly beautiful. There was a lot of chicken, and it was it's very beautiful. It was a very beautiful experience. Very kind of that man to do. Very kind. And and I know he could sense the difference in my children. He just thought they were just the most precious little things. And when we brought all the food up, you could sense the difference in their being, in their little bodies. They just were so full of joy to know that there was this abundance of food, and the mommy wouldn't be, like stressing or sad or. And when I put all that food away in my new place, it felt so good. Even though we were also dealing with quite a bit of trauma, there was this one element, two elements. One, we were safe. Two, we had an abundance of food, so that meant for sleeping good, sleeping well. Oh gosh, that was God's timing. That was God's timing. A door that was closed suddenly thrust open, sucking me in like a whirlwind. Like I'm just minding my own business, imagining that I'm stuck still. And then this door opens wide and sucks me in like a whirlpool. Whoosh, I'm in the door. And then I had to wait again. But I waited so hopeful, and there was a part of me that didn't really believe it was real. Even when I was told in 2 months that I would be able to move in, there was a part of me that did not believe, because it sounded too good to be true. Oh gosh, God, that's one of the reasons why you work on me, is because you need to make sure that I'm going to believe that it's true, or not going to run away or say no. You need to make sure that I'm going to be grounded enough to believe that it's happening, or at least to give it that time to do what it's going to do. Yeah. And with God's timing, I had help to move in from my cousin. And with God's timing, I was able to be taken grocery shopping to buy anything I want. And I will tell you, I did fill that cart. Like he's like, I really mean it. Like, I want you to fill it all the way to the top with whatever you need for you and your kids. Like, fill it. And I did. And his wife came to check out when I was ready. And as I'm watching that bill total and this stuff swiping, and the bill's just growing, and his wife pulls out her card and swipes it, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, these people are so kind. Like, I believe the woman gave me a hug and was like, you're safe, it's okay, and welcome here. That's God's timing. God's timing is having everything you could possibly need prepared for you. Oof. Mm. Without God's timing, I could have had my children just hungry for a much longer period of time. God's timing. God took a door that was closed, yanked it open, and sucked me on in. Sorry this show is so long, you guys. It's a live stream. Life stream. God, please. Show us the true majesty and true power of your timing, and give us the patience. Increase our patience to receive your timing, God. How much joy and grace can we find in your divine timing, God? Oof. Oof. Yes. Thank you, God. Okay, guys. Now I'm very tired. Like, I just feel like I just wore myself out extra with like talking about that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I am gonna go back to bed now. Like, I think that's what's gonna happen, and whatever I normally do after this is no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen today. Oh. Okay, so with that, thank you for joining me. If you've watched this entire episode, oh my gosh, wow. Let me know in the comments if you watched the whole episode. I love how probably in like 6 months I'll start getting comments on like these videos that I made. I'll be like, oh my god, I remember doing that. But these are the final days. God is telling me these are the final days of me having any sort of concern with money. These are the final days of me having any sort of being alone. Okay, these are the final days of me being single. These are the final days of me not being a wife. These are the final days of my children not having a father. These are the final days of me living in this kind of a place. These are the final days of me not having stability. Like, stability. These are the final days of me not having abundance. These are the final days of me not being loved. Okay, so yeah. Okay, God, can you show us that heaven on earth is already here? Can you show us heaven? Can you make heaven on earth very, very real to us, God? That it is here now, God. Can you show us that it is here and that it is real now, God? And what can we do? Be, create, generate to contribute to the expansion of heaven on earth. Right away. See you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live.